Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. It's Wednesday, May 26, 2021. And we begin with what looks like another option for kids in line for the COVID vaccine. Moderna announced yesterday that its shots are safe and effective for those between 12 and 17 years old. During the trial, none of the participants who received the actual vaccine came down with the virus within 14 days of the second dose, while 4 of those who received the placebo did. The company plans to ask the FDA for emergency use authorization in June. As promised, a sweltering heat wave is hitting a big part of the southeastern U.S., and records could fall in Nashville, Atlanta, Birmingham, and Charlotte. CNN says 30% of America's population will see temps of at least 90 degrees or higher. In other weather news, another active hurricane season is predicted by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, with 6 to 10 hurricanes forming in the Atlantic Ocean. The season begins next week on June 1st and runs through November 30th. On Monday, President Biden announced he is doubling the amount of money the U.S. government will spend to help communities get set for extreme weather, including hurricanes, tornadoes, and for the West, wildfires. Getting directions isn't too hard these days. You can go online, use a map on a cell phone, or a GPS system in a car. But sharks don't have that option, and they've been known to travel for thousands of miles in the open seas, yet still return to the exact same spot. Now, scientists have made a big step in figuring out how they do it. Researchers at Florida State University recently did some experiments on the small bonnethead shark. And their study, published in the journal Current Biology, found that sharks use the Earth's magnetic field as a sort of natural GPS to navigate their way across the world's oceans. However, more study is needed to see if larger sharks do the same. The closely watched trial between Apple and Epic Games is nearly over. After 3 weeks, lawyers on both sides gave their closing arguments on Monday before a judge in Oakland, California. Epic, the maker of Fortnite, is suing Apple for overcharging game developers, blocking competition, and booting it from its store, while Apple is suing Epic for breaking its contract. The judge has said it will take her several weeks to make a decision. Her verdict could have a big impact on online platforms and digital commerce all over the world. This week, the U.S.'s largest school systems, New York and Los Angeles, said they are both planning to have all schools open for in-person classes this fall. However, it looks like the federal government may be doing the opposite. After years of resisting letting employees work from home, the pandemic forced nearly all the massive federal workforce to telecommute. With things now opening up, there appears to be a shift for the government, which is the country's largest employer, to allow many of its 2.1 million employees the choice to work in the office or at home. Details are still being finalized, and according to the Washington Post, new guidelines are expected to be announced next month. That's it for KidNuz. Before our quiz, a reminder that overnight, much of the planet got to see the second and final supermoon of 2021. If you're lucky, you might still get a peek. Now, today's questions. How many hurricanes are predicted in this upcoming season? Six to 10. What company now says its vaccine is safe for those between 12 and 17? Moderna. How long will it take a judge to make a decision in the trial between Apple and Epic Games? Several weeks. How do some sharks navigate the world's oceans? By using the Earth's magnetic fields. In One for the Road, even with life starting to open up, it looked like one high school in Virginia would have to cancel their prom for the second year in a row. The dance couldn't be held at the school, and other venues were either unavailable or too expensive. That's when Brandon Wright, a graduate of Covington High, stepped up and offered to host the event at his business, a car dealership. Students and parents were thrilled, and other donations poured in to help with decorations, food, photographs, and music. Mr. Wright lost a day of business, but he says what's more important is the kids have gained memories that will last a lifetime. Before we go, we want to offer a big KidNuz shout-out to some of our amazing teachers and their students, starting with Mrs. Watts at Fairview in Dublin, California, where they are distance learning, but her cat Caitlin is usually in the room for class. Mrs. Smiley at Washington Irving in Durant, Oklahoma. Mrs. Cooper and Ms. Wood, who love their awesome Johnson Jaguars at Johnson Elementary in Columbus, Georgia. Mrs. Peterson at Rossville Alvin Grade School in Rossville, Illinois. Mrs. Fryer at Highlands Elementary in Edina, Minnesota, and Mrs. McLean's Kihei Dolphins, who rock this year in Maui, Hawaii. Thanks for listening. It really helps if you rate and review us wherever you get your podcast. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We hope you tune in for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.